All right. Do I finally have this thing set up? All right. Looks like I do. Goodness gracious. Let's see here. We're going to get started here in just a second. I'm still working out some technical difficulties. This is new for me, guys. The streaming thing. This is new. But I'm hyped to give this a go. So let me know if you're here in the chat. Let me know so I can see that you're here. Having some issues with the chat to get the chat working. So I'm going to have to just keep this up on the side in case you want to hop in there. So let me know if you're watching. For whatever reason, I scheduled this, so it should not have started yet, but it's already started. So we're here. I'll just cut this piece off. It's no big deal. But I'd like to see you guys in the chat. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get some folks in here. All right. It's going to be interesting. So we're just going to hop into the show here, and if you want to comment, don't hesitate. Just hit the live chat for me, and all of the things that I'm saying right now are going to just disappear soon enough. By the time you guys are watching this at home, it might look very different, but we're just going to hop straight into it. I can't even tell if people are on here. How would I know? What is going on here? Man, total rookie. I don't see anything. It's not telling me anything. If you're here, let me know in the chat because I can't tell if you're here. I'm not getting it. But we're just gonna go for it today, guys. We're just taking risks. We're just taking risks and trying things. All right. So chat me to see if it's working. I gotta get someone on here. All right. We'll see if it's working here. Oh, someone's here. All right. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Frick, the stream is actually working. Let's go. At least I know it's working now. There you go. Well, we're going to jump straight into it right now. Thanks for joining, Michael. Thank you. You're awesome. I'm new to the new YouTube thing. Thank you, Timothy. Smitty, excuse me. Thank you so much so now I know that it's actually working, which makes me feel a little bit better here. Got to try new things, got to take risks, right? So we're gonna hop into the video here, and please let me know. I have the chat pulled up. The chat's a little bit delayed for whatever reason, but I'm still working on some issues on my end here. But we're gonna jump straight into it and chat whatever you want, and I'll do my best to try and pull those up. I won't be able to display them today. We're having a little issue with that problem right there, but we're gonna hit the video. So don't get too hyped, by the way. It's only preseason. It means nothing, right? Trey Lance even looks good sometimes in preseason. It's hard to not get hyped when you see guys balling out, as we did this weekend in the preseason football. You have waited so many months for football. It's hard to not get overhyped. We talked a lot about Dominic Purdy, and that particular rookie had an incredible day on Saturday. But the more footage rolls out, the better. And the more I'm looking at some other rookies like Mustapha, who had an absolutely outstanding performance. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what head coach Kyle Shanahan just said about Mustapha. We're also going to be listening to what he said about the absolute mountain of injuries facing. I just realized all right, just make sure I'm muted here so we don't have any issues with our audio, as I'm going to play some audio for you guys about the mountain of injuries that the 49ers are facing right now and the best Brandon Aiyuk takes I've seen today. This is my first go being live here, so, be a little bit gracious, but, it's okay to be honest. You can be honest. I can take it. If you're new here, I'm Nate. We're talking the San Francisco 49ers on this channel every day, and it really does help me out if you hit that like button. I know I always say subscribe button right there, but apparently the YouTube algorithm has changed a little bit, and now I guess likes are more important than they used to be or something like that. But that being said, if you haven't joined the party, make sure you sub up. What are you waiting for? Well, the good news is this, all right, guys. Kyle Shanahan even-keeled Kyle Shanahan was glowing about Malik Mustapha's performance in a recent interview. This guy lives and breathes football. And although he is one of the greatest offensive minds in the game right now, make no mistake, Kyle Shanahan understands every single position on this field. And I can't wait to tell you about the details. For those of you that are joining live, hit me in the chat. It's a little delayed today, but hit me in the chat. I love to point out your comments, like Ben over here saying, I hope 49ers win NFC, at least beat the Lions. Yeah. How about both of those? Come on, man. Come on, man. Both of those, no doubt. Hey, before I show you this great audio clip of what even-keeled Kyle Shanahan said, glowing about Malik Mustapha, comment below. And let me know in the chat, guys. Who is your all-time favorite safety for the 49ers? If I said you can't pick Ronnie Lott, all right? I took the number one off the list. That's just guaranteed everyone's going to say that. If you had to pick your top safety, second to Ronnie Lott, who are you picking for the 49ers? Some of my favorite comments come from guys who have been watching the 49ers since before I was born, and I know that some of the greatest safeties in NFL history played in red and gold. So let's have some fun on this one, because there's been a lot of negative energy around the 49ers. We're going to talk a little bit about injuries later today as well, but let me know in the comments. Let's have a fun one. Let me know who's your number two, number three, number four, if you want to go there. My goodness, get in there. Top safeties, because we're going to be talking about Malik Mustapha, who is not at that level yet, of course, but we hope he gets there for sure. All right. Love the chat. Thanks, guys, for hopping in the chat there. I'm excited to try this thing out here. But let's start with what Kyle Shanahan said about Malik Mustapha. Here's what even-keeled Kyle Shanahan had to say. I love how he played. You could see how he did it on special teams. He had no hesitation. He's a hitter. But sometimes guys get in that first game and they slow down a little bit. And he was the opposite. This is even-keeled Kyle Shanahan making us all feel even better. I mean, this is what I was trying to say at the very beginning of the video, guys. You don't want to get ahead of yourselves on any preseason game ever, because even guys like Trey Lance can look very impressive in preseason, right? But, man, and shoot, speaking of, oh, my goodness, J.J. McCarthy hit some freaking balls this weekend. And now he's injured. Sucks for the Vikings fans out there. Bummer for you guys. But anyway, the point is this. It's easy to get too hyped in preseason, and I'm definitely getting too hyped about Malik Mustapha. And I'm going to tell you, Kyle Shanahan's not helping me here. He showed up on special teams. He showed up on a 3rd and 2. They got to our middle third player, which usually is at least an explosive, and he met him at 3 yards, which is huge. The goal line stand was an unbelievable play. We all agree there. We had a missed assignment, so we had no edge player, so he was actually the middle third guy and just filled it in real fast in a blink, and he knows how to hit. So it was nice the guy went backwards. And you remember what he said after the game, talking about how it was nice to see him hitting other guys for once, not our own teammates. So this rookie is absolutely balling out. Love it. Hey, by the way, in the chat there to the comment of the day, love it. Merton Hanks, Dwight Hicks. I like to call him D White, but there you go. I love it. Those are great call outs there. I'll get to the chat more later as well. I want to talk about this one if it'll load for me. So we've been talking about the injuries, guys, and this is a reality that we have to face. Kyle Shanahan also had some interesting things to say about the injuries. So this is the insane number I heard on the radio today, and here's it is. The San Francisco 49ers have reportedly already suffered 26 injuries this offseason so far. And, of course, obviously that's why the 49ers canceled joint practices and scrimmages with the New Orleans Saints ahead of the game, which is a huge loss, by the way. make no mistake about it, it is better for these guys to get out there and work together. It's better for these guys to play against each other, to play against guys they're not used to. Kyle Shanahan talked about it this offseason, how important it is. So I am disappointed about that. And I think it would be better for the 49ers. But that being said, you look at how many injuries we have, it makes a little sense. Here's what Kyle Shanahan had to say.
That this many guys are hurt at this stage, or is it surprising to you?
I mean, yeah. I think we've been pretty fortunate the last couple of years. You know that never stays. So we've definitely been less fortunate this year. So a lot more numbers than we've been used to. But I think the best news about it all, I mean, you know, we told you about Ambry and Kalia, which are more serious and longer, but the other guys are, you know, they're anywhere from 10 days to 3 weeks. You know, they're guys that we expect to be ready for the season. It's always tough when you miss training camp, so hopefully we can get them back. But, yeah, we've had a lot of nicks and stuff that has made it harder to practice, but you'll take that over a serious injury.
And you would take that, but there is something to be said about that. Those soft tissue injuries are whose responsibility? Whose fault are those? You know, you can say preseason game injuries happen. Ambry Thomas, forearm broken. You're not really going to blame that on Kyle Shanahan. That's not his fault. That's not overworking. But soft tissue injuries you can blame on the medical staff. You can blame it on the front office. You can blame it on the coaches more specifically. I don't know why I'm talking about the front office because that is their responsibility. It's their responsibility to manage the tempo of practices. And everybody is coming out saying these last 2 days, the 49ers have been practicing faster than any other team in the NFL, and that is why you're getting all these injuries. So you got to take a little bit of blame there, but to Kyle's point, he's absolutely right. At the very least, we can be happy that most of these injuries are soft-ish injuries. They're short-term injuries. These guys are coming back. Burford's going to come back. Feliciano's going to come back. Cowing is already back. So these guys are coming back. You know, you're bummed about the Kalia Davis, You're bummed about the Ambry Thomas, and I'm bummed about those too. But we're thankful that guys like Christian McCaffrey are coming back and they're going to be healthy at the start of the season. Those long-term injuries, by the way, while we're talking about them, specifically I'm thinking about the Hufanga, the Dre Greenlaw injuries. Excited that Hufanga's on a positive path, so that's good for him, that he might even make it before the first game, regular game of the season. So that's good. And then you also have Dre Greenlaw, who, you know, we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. But the guys who are coming up, the rookies who are filling those spots right now, are balling out. So we'll take that in the meantime. Some other information I wanted to just throw out there, and then we got to talk to Brandon Aiyuk, and I hope you're down for it. I hope you're interested in it because the news today is just pretty wild on Brandon Aiyuk. But firstly, Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy's preparation leading up to games. I've just learned so much in San Francisco, not only from the coaches, but from the players. The way Brock prepared every single week was inspiring to me. We didn't leave one stone unturned throughout the week. And this is just, again, like, I'm going to keep playing this stuff. I'm going to keep showing you this stuff because this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of guy that Brock Purdy is, and we have to be hyped on that. Regardless of top 5, top 10, who cares? Who cares? Honestly, those ratings don't mean anything. At the end of the day, if this guy goes and gets a Lombardi, it doesn't matter if he's rated top 3 or top 5 or whatever. Let's be hyped on who we have under center. That being said, I do think it's interesting. Sam Darnold's in a good situation right now. Good situation. You never want to say good situation because someone's injured, but he does have an opportunity here because of this J.J. McCarthy injury. I don't know, man. J.J. McCarthy looked really good. I could see a world in which he was going to potentially start, and I would have all offseason, I knew it was going to be Sam Darnold. I just felt that way. I just felt strong on it. I felt like Sam Darnold's been sitting behind Brock Purdy. Of all the people to be sitting behind, he's been sitting behind Brock Purdy an entire season. He's been learning from Kyle Shanahan. He's been picking up wisdom, and he's been watching a rookie ball out right in front of his eyes, a guy that shouldn't be good enough. So if anybody can learn from anybody, it should be a guy learning from a guy who shouldn't be good enough, who's pulling it off. He should be able to back himself to go figure it out this season. So, good for him. Good for him. Okay. Robert, the question of the day, I just saw your comment there. Sorry, it's a little delayed, FYI. So by the time you're seeing this, it's going to be a minute or something like that. But Robert, the question is, because I know you've got an answer to this, who is your number 2 best 49er safety in history? So take Ronnie Lott, put him aside for a second. Who's left? Who's the next best guy? So let us know in the chat on that one. All right, moving on, because we have to talk about the Brandon Aiyuk situation here. Here we go. There you go. There you go. See? Love it already. All right, update on Brandon Aiyuk. The Steelers and the 49ers, this is how the day started, right? Steelers and 49ers have a deal on a potential trade, and Pittsburgh is in a good place in the Aiyuk contract. Sources say if San Francisco gives the final sign-off, it's done. This is coming from Ian Rappaport. San Francisco has an offer out to Aiyuk on a long-term deal for him to stay. He has not accepted. Didn't sound good. And then later in the day, this is what just happened. I just came across this like an hour ago with my family at Target, and I'm sitting there on my phone like, wait, hold on. The latest development comes from Mike Garofalo, who is reporting that Aiyuk and the 49ers have exchanged contract extension proposals that are within range of what the other desires. Aiyuk is waiting for the 49ers to make a decision on one final item. If San Francisco gets there, the sides could agree to the elusive long-term contract extension. What I've been told, this is now the actual quote, what I've been told is that Brandon Aiyuk would prefer to stay with the 49ers and has always preferred to stay with the 49ers. That's not news to us. We already knew that, okay? All things being equal, now they haven't been equal, but they did make that offer. In fact, both sides sent proposals within the last couple of days, a week or so, and the 49ers number has gotten better than what it was previously. And they have, from my understanding, they have agreed on a lot of main points of the deal, basically bringing it down to one thing, which nobody knows what the one thing is, but we can all assume it's money of some kind. It's got to be, right? Their offers are in line, but it sounds like there's just one more thing that needs to be ironed out. And if that thing gets ironed out, Brandon Aiyuk signs a deal. He stays with the 49ers. He drops the trade request. And finally, we can put this situation behind him. The Niners can put it behind them and go win the 6th Lombardi Trophy. Am I right? Let me know in the chat if I'm right. My goodness. Some great takes today from lots of big name 49ers fans and reporters. Just to round off our show tonight. Sounds like the 49ers might want a firm decision out from Brandon Aiyuk. Let's see here. Ronnie Lott was not allowed, by the way, in the chat, Mike Frost. Ronnie Lott was not allowed. That was the rule. You had to pick your second best, so Ronnie Lott was obvious. The last thing that they want is for this to drag out. We long looked at mid-August as a deadline of sorts if they didn't want this to creep too close to the regular season. From Brian Peacock, the reported trade offers from Cleveland and New England were 2nd and 5th plus Cooper, 2nd and Judon plus Bourne. Huge loss for the 49ers if they don't get a similar return from the Steelers for Aiyuk. And since it doesn't look like Pittsburgh has a significant player that works, picks need to carry the weight. And let's just be honest, I don't think the Steelers are going to give that weight. I don't think they're going to do it. And I agree with you, by the way. I agree with you that, or I agree with him, rather, that if they're going to pull it off, it has to be a pretty hefty penny. And if they don't, it's a loss. If they don't get solid picks for Brandon Aiyuk, it's a mistake, and we missed it. We should have figured it out this summer. Good take. This is a little fiery from KNBR here.
It feels like we've been on this roller coaster since the day after the Super Bowl ended. Going back to those alleged videos of him and Jaden Daniels having the organic conversations on FaceTime, which we all know wasn't organic. It was all a plea to get a bigger contract. And then seeing the wide receiver market explode this offseason, that's the main difference to me is last year with Nick Bosa, it wasn't like he was competing with other defensive ends to get the big contract. Right now, we're still looking at situations with the Dallas Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb, or what the Bengals are eventually going to do with Jamar Chase. And we saw Justin Jefferson get paid this offseason, which raised the price tag on Brandon Aiyuk. But now Brandon Aiyuk doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't know if he wants $32 million because the Patriots were willing to give it to him. He doesn't know if he wants 26 to play for a Super Bowl contender. He doesn't know if he wants to go be 8-8 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, Brandon Aiyuk's got to figure out what the hell he wants. He's trying to have his cake and eat it too. You can either play for a Super Bowl team or you can get $32 million to go catch passes from Drake May. It feels like we've
I love the take. Fiery but accurate. The 8-8 thing was a throwback to a couple years ago, but I feel it because I often in my head go back to 8-8. I think that all the time. So I feel it there. And let's be honest, like regardless of what quarterback starts for the Pittsburgh Steelers, regardless of how that QB situation finishes out at the end of preseason, neither of which are going to be anywhere near the situation that the 49ers are in right now. I'm not sure that I would say that they're 8-8 bound or 8-9 or whatever. I'm not sure I'm there quite yet, just because Mike Tomlin runs a good ship there. But I don't think that they're like serious contenders, and I don't think that he's going to like it. You guys got to remember, okay? Last season, the Broncos had Jerry Jeudy, elite route runner, amazing route runner, and Russell Wilson is dancing around in the pocket, and what's Jerry Jeudy doing? He's just throwing his hands up because he can't handle the fact that after so many games playing with this quarterback, he's not getting the ball, and it's driving him crazy. And he gets in an open position, and the quarterback's not even looking at the right spot. He's busy dancing around back there trying to find a spot. I just don't look. I don't want to be a hater, an absolute hater on Russell Wilson. He seems like a nice guy, but he's not going to be the type of guy that Brandon Aiyuk is going to love playing football with. That's just my opinion. I'm just telling you my opinion. Anyone can change. Anyone can be good at different times. I just don't see it happening. Russell Wilson thanks from Benjamin here. Russell Wilson is absolute garbage. I cannot believe Aiyuk would want to play there. Aiyuk leaving 49ers for Steelers would be like YouTube CEO leaving for Rumble. Good one, man. Good one. Hey, I'm about to close up shop here. I've got one more thing that we got to just take a look at. All right. But let me know in the chat if you have any thoughts about what we've been talking about related to Aiyuk. Do you want him? Do you want him to go? I think this football team is better with Brandon Aiyuk than we are without him. Like, it's that simple. I've been saying it all off season. It just makes sense to me. You keep a guy around who makes us better. And this is the Super Bowl window. This is not the time that you're making concessions to try and build for the future. This is the time that you have the future in front of you. He's the right age. He's the right position in his career. He just came off the best season of his life, and you're hoping that he's going to help you get to the Super Bowl. So, you guys let me know in the chat, though, how you feel about it. I'm going to pull up one more thing while you're doing that. We're going to talk about it. Let's see here. Aiyuk will either choose more money and bad times or less money and postseason fun. I feel that. Wilson is washed. Fields isn't a good quarterback. Steelers division is tough. This is a great point. Steelers division is tough, and they're the fourth best team out of 4 teams. That's a great take. I didn't even think about that, guys, and I pulled this tweet up. I mean, I did think about it at one point today when I was pulling these tweets aside, but yeah, shoot. That is a great point. If you play for a team, look division wide, right? NFC West, there's just going to be an easier route for you. Plus the players that you have here. Who knows what's going to happen with Kyler Murray? He looked good at the second half of the season, but this is just far and away. This is a better opportunity for Brandon Aiyuk if he's looking for that clean road to the playoffs. Love that. Okay, what do we got here? I think BA's staying. Thank you, Robert Kennedy. You are always a legendary commenter, and I appreciate you joining the chat today. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for joining the live stream. This was a little buggy for me on my end. I don't know how it looked on your end. I was all over the place before and after. I'm just trying to figure this whole thing out, but I'm having fun. We're learning. And for those of you that missed the beginning of the live stream, I got an idea. How about next time, maybe I tell you before I live stream that I'm about to live stream? There's an idea. That could work. The other thing I could do is once I have it all figured out and I've got some rhythms down, I could have a little timer at the beginning so that if you're coming in and you're like, oh, okay, I got like 5 minutes here where the stream has started and he's not just off in his paces running a mile an hour. What was the Office joke? A mile a minute, something like that, whatever it is. All right, folks. All right. That's all I got for you today. As always, you know how we do here. What a time to be alive.